What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Live Z Podcast, episode 11. I'm your host, Bray, and with me today, on my right, is Cade Kyle Kendall.
Yo.
And I got Hunter to my left here.
Hello.
And so it's been a while, guys. It's been a while since the last episode.
5 minutes.
It's been a long time since
freeze
Hunter
up
joined
5
us.
minutes.
Oh yeah. So first thing I want to say, I just want to jump into. I just want to apologize for being gone so long, guys. It's been a pretty hectic couple of months. You know, a lot of changes have been made to the show, and I didn't want to put something out until I was absolutely ready and ready to take this show in a different direction than what it was going in. I just want to say, for anybody who heard about this show and subscribed and watched it, even those 7 views or that 1 like that we got on a video, I just want to thank you guys a lot, because even though we don't have a lot of people watching this show right now, even just 1 like or 1 mention to somebody really means a lot, because this is kind of my dream right here. This is what I've always wanted to do for a long time, is just talk about Dragon Ball. And I think I'm very grateful to, live in a time where I can get my opinion out there pretty easily. So I just want to thank you guys for that. As far as the last episode goes, back in July and August, I just want to say that, there was a meeting held between all of the hosts about, how we should conduct the show from further on, because it seemed like the show was going in a bunch of different directions, and I kind of wasn't liking it. I wasn't into it, is what I'll say about that. And it's not that I didn't like what was happening with the show. It's just that I feel like those ideas would be great for something else, not something called the Live Z Podcast. I love Dragon Ball, and I think that I want to talk about it more often. And I know there's a lot of people out there who feel the same way I do. And I'm glad that there's all this, culture and pop culture that's becoming famous now, because a lot of people back then didn't have that. A lot of nerds, were kind of outcasted by the norm at that time. And I'm just really glad that, I live in an age now where that's popular. But more importantly, I want to talk about Dragon Ball. I should have mentioned this when the show first started, but this should have been a very Dragon Ball dominant podcast. This should have been, in my opinion, 75 to 80% Dragon Ball, and the rest shonen anime. And I should have made that more vocal when I started. And to you guys, I'm sorry. I'm willing to take ownership of that. That wasn't, I should have taken the reins when I should have. And it's not anybody's fault but mine. It really is my fault that I waited so long to start recording again, and the show just kind of went into a downward spiral, I think. And I don't want that to happen again. I want us to improve and get better, the same way Goku would. You know what I mean? So enough of that. And then the last thing I just want to mention about this is a couple of mistakes that I think were made in the podcast. There was a lot of ordering mistakes, like the order and the way that the podcasts flowed through. I didn't really like it, and I'm trying to find a better way to organize my thoughts here. But I'm just laying out what I'm thinking, as it comes along.
Speaking from the heart.
Yeah, and I didn't like the pacing at all either. I thought the podcasts were just a little bit too short. I figured there was a little bit more we could talk about. And there's a lot of creative differences and rambling, and I could talk about that all day, but that doesn't really matter too much. What matters is that I don't want to stop this. I love doing this, and I want to come back, and I want to keep going with this, because it's not something that I just want to walk away from. I love talking about Dragon Ball. And like I said, there's not very many podcasts out there that strictly have that kind of topic in hand. And I know there's people out there who look for it. And so, you know, that's that's pretty much all I want to say about that. But we're back now, and we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball mainly for the rest of this podcast, for as long as it's on. And believe it or not, there's a lot of stuff for Dragon Ball coming out. I mean, we have Kakarot coming out. We still have Heroes going on. The manga, from what I'm hearing about the manga and reading, it's getting really popular, and the story's getting really good, and it's amping up to a really big fight, and it's looking amazing. We still have, the Vic controversy. I don't want to talk too much on that, but I mean, it's still out there. And Vic's Broly. Broly's part of Dragon Ball.
There's still something to be said about it.
So in my opinion, there's still something to be said about it. There's still so many unexplored topics in Dragon Ball that I've tried searching for on YouTube, and they're not there. So, in my opinion, I don't think Dragon Ball is going to die. I think it's going to keep going. And that's what I'm really excited for, and that's kind of what I want to jump into immediately. So, enough of that. Enough said. We're done talking about that. The water's clear. So first thing I want to talk about is the manga right now with Super. And I know, Hunter, you haven't read it in a while.
I haven't read it for, since it first came back.
So where are you all caught up right now? Are you at
Well, I think we should catch up the audience first, and then I'll tell you where I was.
Okay. So everybody knows Z, so we'll just start with Super. Pretty easy. I'll do the beginning really quickly.
I think
pretty easy.
When the Tournament of Power ended.
Oh, you want
in
that?
the manga.
Okay.
To what's now.
Okay. So the Tournament of Power ended in the manga, and right now what we have going on is the Galactic Patrol arc. The Galactic Patrol saga. So basically, Goku and Vegeta are working with the Galactic Patrol because a villain named Moro is releasing all of the prisoners, universal prisoners, he's letting them free, and they're kind of doing his bidding. And Moro is a magician, right? Right, kid?
Mm-hmm. He's he's meant to be this old embodiment of pure evil that Boo knows about from clear back when, and the old Kais know about him, and he can manipulate. He's a planet eater, he eats planets, and that rejuvenates him, and he can slap Goku and Vegeta they were going at it, and he sucks their energy from them and makes it so they can't even use what they're used to doing. And
so Super Saiyan and basically any transformation that requires a lot of ki
is actually beneficial to him.
It's
able
fuel
to from that.
For him because he can absorb that from them. And so I bet you can tell and where we find Moro first is on Namek.
Mm-hmm.
So he's back on Namek, and they're kind of doing what Frieza did. They're killing villagers and stuff. And so when Goku and Vegeta get there, Moro, they start fighting, Moro and Moro. Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah.
Sorry. And so Goku and Vegeta. They get their butt kicked pretty hard.
I remember reading that. They got...
Pretty hard.
Yeah, they got their clean.
Pretty much. They got their clock clean.
Yeah.
And so what they have to do now is kind of reevaluate their training and how they're fighting against Moro. And they got to rethink their strategy. And something that's been happening is that there's this mysterious character in the manga right now, and he works for the Galactic Patrol. His name's Miras. Mm-hmm. He's the top agent, right?
Well, no, I don't even think he's a top agent. He's just an agent. And he's everybody's oh, Miras is a badass, and Vegeta's oh, who are you? And Miras shows dude, I could cuck slap you if I wanted to. And Vegeta's just what? And it blows both of them away and stuff.
So and I actually have news about that too. So what happens basically is after the defeat of Moro, their first defeat, Goku goes with Miras, and Miras kind of takes Goku into this version of the Room of Spirit and Time, only the time dilation there is way different. It's a lot shorter. I think a week in there is or a week, 2 weeks in there is a day in the real world.
Right.
Okay.
And so as that storyline is going on, you start to think, well, wow. And the way Miras looks is he's got silver eyes, white skin, and silver hair. and he looks an awful lot like an angel.
yeah.
And so as this is going on, you're kind of wondering, and there's theories all over the internet, you know, when this was going on. It's like, oh wow, I think Maris is an angel. And as it keeps going forward, you start to find out, like, oh yeah, he's definitely an angel, because he knows so much about Ultra Instinct, and he's teaching Goku in his own version of like the Room and Spirit and Time.
Mm-hmm.
And then meanwhile, Vegeta goes to Yardrat, where Goku was after he defeated Frieza and escaped from Namek. And basically Vegeta starts to learn what Goku did, and this is how Goku can perform instant transmission, is he doesn't manipulate ki. It's something called spirit. And so there's the ki, which is energy, and then there's spirit. And so
Like basically,
And
in a
that's-
nutshell, introduced a new concept to fighting.
yes.
I guess.
And so that's why Goku can use instant transmission so well, is that and he can use it without any loss of stamina, because he uses spirit. And so in the latest chapter, they catch up with what's been going on, and so Whis is talking to Grand Priest, and they confirm Maris is in fact an angel, but he's a fallen angel who chose to go try and help the humans, or the mortals. And so the problem with that, though, is that once Grand Priest finds out, he's like, oh, nope, can't be doing that, because angels aren't allowed to interfere with, like, mortal affairs. They're not allowed to fight. And so...
Which doesn't make sense, but...
Yeah, but it does
Whis
make...
kinda does
it
it.
does make sense on why Whis is so passive in the series.
Yeah,
And why
but-
he's dodging all of Broly's punches and not fighting back.
But that's not the point. The point is he still rewound time after Frieza.
I know,
And
I
helped-
know.
It's like,
helped Bulma get
Yeah.
murdered.
It's like,
So-
okay.
And I think Grand Priest does mention this in the chapter. I'll have to go back and confirm, but I think he does say, like, you know, you helped out the humans too, but you did it for food, you know? And so I think it is acknowledged, but Whis decides to take Maris under his wing and watch over him.
Okay.
You know, so that way he doesn't get in too much trouble and is called back to Grand Priest. And so Whis pops up in the room in Maris's version of the Room in Spirit and Time, and he takes Maris, and Maris leaves Goku, and we're assuming that Goku knows a lot more than he did about Ultra Instinct, because he'd been training with Maris for like 2 weeks in that chamber. So then we cut to Vegeta, and Vegeta has already learned so much on Yardrat. And what happened is his spirit, Vegeta's spirit, was unaligned and like unorganized. And so what the leader of Yardrat did is align it with Vegeta, and now he's like 3 times as strong as he used to be in his base form.
The way you explained it to me at first
Yeah.
was him having to put more effort into fighting, but now that his spirit is aligned, it doesn't seem like he's going to have to put as much in.
Maybe that could
Well-
be the case. I think what I theorize is that what they might be doing is they might be saying, like, I think Vegeta might get the W on this one. I'm just saying it because meanwhile, while Goku and Vegeta are trying to train, Moro is sending out more and more criminals to like scour the planets, because he absorbs planets. He absorbs energy from planets, and that's how he gets stronger. And so what he does is basically absorbs that energy, and then after that, he kind of he gets more powerful from it. And so he sends his goons out through the universe, and then they find planets for him to come and absorb. And meanwhile, while Goku and Vegeta are training, like Piccolo and Dende and Gohan are on Earth, and the goons from Moro show up on Earth, and Piccolo gets in a fight with them, and you'll have to read the manga, but basically there's goons from I'm sorry, I lost my
From
train of
Moro,
thought.
Alchemist Island of space.
there's Moro's goons are on Earth, and then one of them shows up on Yardrat, and this is how Vegeta finds out that they're on Earth.
And it's like a Zarbon clone.
Yeah, it's basically.
Oh, what?
Yeah, well, it's somebody from Zarbon's race,
Oh.
and but this is what's the best part, in my opinion. The best part of that chapter is when Vegeta is basically firing off like a like no big deal kind of like shock stun blast, thinking it's just gonna like whoa, like shock this guy. He completely obliterates him almost. And Vegeta's like, whoa, how did that happen? And it's because his spirit is aligned, and so now he's like 3 times as strong, which I think is pretty cool. It's a good way to like boost up the character and provide an explanation.
It adds another level of not skill but practice that goes into something other than just ki, because I think a lot of people were getting sick and tired of hearing, you know, power levels and stuff like that, whereas spirit adds a new element to a fight where if your spirit is more aligned, you're stronger, rather than if you have more expendable ki.
That's true. So basically, like, the Zarbon clone like does the same thing Zarbon does, and like beefs up and thinks he's gonna like clap Vegeta, and Vegeta claps back. Like, you already know what happens at you know, at the end of the fight. You know, Vegeta wins, but he finds out that Moro's planning to go to Earth, and so now Vegeta goes to the Yardrat elder or leader or something, and he's like, listen, you got to teach me like the advanced stuff now, because I don't have enough
stuff is getting real.
Other places. So now Vegeta's going to learn more about spirit than Goku ever has.
Okay.
So that's where the chapter ended, and in fact, I think the next chapter is in 10 days. So so now that you're a little caught up, you know, I don't know. I think if I'm going to talk about the W here, just to be a little childish, you know, and you know, bottle it down to who's going to win at the end of this chapter, I think it might be Vegeta. You know, and I know a lot of people are used to having Goku get the W, but I think it would be a good thing for the fans, and it would be, you know, a good thing for Vegeta's character.
I think it would add more confidence to Vegeta if he got this win, especially where he was so... Moro is a new kind of enemy. They have never faced anything like him. So I think Vegeta getting that win not only will provide character development, but will make Vegeta therefore more confident in the future going into fights. And this is just making him generally stronger, because now that his spirit is aligned, from what you told me with that Zarbon, you know, copycat, sounds like he truly is stronger, and I'm excited to see where Vegeta's skill set goes to when he's learning this advanced stuff. Because Vegeta, as you know, was very stubborn in his ways, and basically being trained by the Yardrats was a huge step in the right direction for character development for him. Now he's learning to accept other people's teachings, which is a huge thing, because he never really wanted to. Of course he did with Whis, but before that he was a lone wolf by himself.
Yeah, that's true. And I think kind of what made Vegeta's spirit out of alignment was because he was evil before, you know. And maybe
might have been his pride.
It could have been that. It could have been that too. You know, I'm not, you know, close to other ideas, but like I just got to thinking that, you know, the other day I was like, well, maybe if Vegeta's spirit was out of line, that could have been like all those years he was under Frieza and hating Goku and thinking of him as a rival instead of as an ally, or maybe an asset to get stronger. Maybe now, you know, Vegeta's finally realizing like he can rely on other people and not just Goku to get stronger.
I feel like they might try and go more in depth with what was making his spirit unaligned as he's learning more advanced techniques. Do you think they could do that? Because I think they kind of owe an explanation as to why his spirit was unaligned. Not just, you know, these theories, but I feel like they should go more in depth.
I agree. I think they could make that work in the next chapter. It's just they've got so much ground to cover, you know. But to be fair, they have a lot of time too, because Gohan and Piccolo are fighting on Earth right now, you know, and so Vegeta's got to get to Earth, and I'm assuming Goku knows something, and he's got to get to Earth soon too. So something's gonna happen, and Moro's gonna show up, and then Vegeta and Goku can really test their new skills.
It'll be the great showdown.
I don't know if that'll be the great showdown. I think that might be like the mid-fight, and then maybe Moro will get away, and then they're going to have one final bout, like one final fight to get rid of him. I'm not completely sure, but that's what I think is going to happen.
What do you think would happen if Vegeta and Goku couldn't get to Earth in time and Moro was allowed to absorb Earth. What do you think would happen? Do you think there would be active consequences for that, or do you think it could be saved, again by plot convenience like the Dragon Balls or the Angels,
Well,
the Super Dragon
it
Balls?
wouldn't even matter. They could use the Super Dragon Balls is the thing, So that part really doesn't matter to me. Yeah, it could happen, but
I'm just wondering if that could influence more power upon Vegeta, knowing that now Bulma doesn't exist, Trunks doesn't exist, Bola doesn't exist. That could affect Goku, where Chi-Chi, Gohan, and Goten are gone, as well as Krillin, as well as Tien.
They've done that before, though.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
they have.
the thing.
That,
So
they
they'd
did that
have
with
to up the stake somehow. They'd have to make it so like Moro could kill Zeno. That's because
that's a good point.
Yeah,
we know about Zeno, and we know it's like that him and Goku are kind of tight. So it's like,
Yeah, that's why I was trying. I don't know, like the stakes. It's kind of hard to see where they could go because they've already done so much.
They should
that
kill
what else
somebody
could-
off.
Yeah, they really should permanently.
Somebody should go. And
Someone's so powerful that the Dragon Balls can't, even the Super Dragon Balls can't bring them back, which unfortunately is either an Angel, Zeno,
or Boo.
or Boo.
Or Boo.
Because
yeah.
Boo was the one that had the tie with him from the get-go. That's, I don't know, because he's the one that absorbed the Kai, and that's the only way that he knew about him, and Moro knew about him, and that freaked him out, so it just makes sense.
That does.
And I just hope that, but then there was also a scene where like they were telling Krillin, like, go get everybody, because all these bad guys are coming, so I'm like, all right, where's that? I want to see Tien whoop some ass.
Yeah,
I want to
dude.
see Piccolo.
Yeah, they are going to get all the Z
Yeah.
fighters assembled for this,
they
which
got
will
it.
be cool. They need more of that.
Yep.
It needs to stop, I get it. Goku's the main character of the show, but I agree with you. I want to see Tien, I want to see a Tri-Beam.
Yeah. Do what
I
they
want to
did
see a
for
Kikoho,
the
man.
Saiyan saga, where it's like everybody put all they had, and you were like, hell yeah.
Yeah, it felt like an earned victory.
Yeah.
I want one of those.
When is this taking place? Is this immediately after the Tournament of Power, or is this
No,
sometime
this
after?
No, this is a
after
good
Broly.
amount of time
This
after
is after
Broly.
Broly, yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is, have the other Z fighters learned exponentially from the Tournament of Power, and how much stronger could they be?
That's
The Tournament of Power
all the different
was
techniques
the
they
power
saw,
increase.
all the different
Oh,
people,
yeah.
all the foes they fought, all the experience they got in just that
Oh, yeah.
one 45-minute tournament.
Well, I'm sure we're going to find out.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure we are. And I think the Tournament of Power was the power increase because that whole tournament of Power, they gave everything they have. And they learned so much from that whole
And the
thing.
Saiyans evolved a ton during that time.
Except for Gohan.
If anybody got the Toriyama wank job, it was the Saiyans during
Yeah.
the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
It was just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Jeez, really? Like,
Except for
okay.
Gohan.
Except for the hype.
But Gohan got his in this manga. He went-
Oh,
he got
yeah.
the win against
He got-
Kefla.
Oh, yeah. He took
Yeah,
out
having him
Kefla.
go up against Kefla, it's like, okay.
That makes sense.
That would have been a lot cooler.
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay,
gonna
that's
lie.
cool.
I didn't like that Kefla got up to Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken level. To me that just didn't make sense.
There's
But
we never-
to be fair, Kale is legendary, presumably.
Right.
And so if Broly can get to that stage, then I guess.
But even that's hard to stomach.
I
And
know,
we've
even-
talked about that where it's just like, you're telling me that Broly was fighting base Vegeta and just through the Toriyama wank job is able to go up against Blue Goku by the end of it. And
Yeah.
not winning, but he's holding his own. It's like,
Oh well, yeah, they have their own
and
inconsistencies
it's just like,
about that,
Come on.
It does kind of show though the fear that King Vegeta had, being fully kind of backed up with all that power and destruction Broly's doing in that movie. I guess there was a reason Vegeta wanted to send him off, because he was that powerful, because
Yeah.
he could do that, because King Vegeta foresaw that.
Well, I mean, even Paragus said it himself. He's like, King Vegeta was right.
Yeah.
Broly's a monster. And I just think that it would be cool to continue Super and still have Broly, because now you have another Saiyan to throw into the mix who can hold his own.
They will. They
And
will.
and I guarantee at the end of that chapter where they're like, get everybody.
Broly
I know
should show
Broly's gonna show up. What I think would be cool is if they emphasized more on that great ape focused into your base form, because then Cade's dream will be fully realized and Super Saiyan 4 will be canon.
It is canon. It's just not in this stupid canon. I hate that. It's
That's
just
what-
like
well-
it's like GT took place in a time where Beerus never showed up.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it.
That's all the difference.
Well,
Well,
like-
it veered. It's like, is it still Goku in GT? Well, yeah. Okay. Is it still Vegeta? Is it still Gohan? Yeah. Then it's canon. It's like, don't do the whole.
It's just another interpretation
right.
of the story.
Right. It's like, don't do that. Like, it's the same story.
Well, I still regard it as canon.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I.
I'm just sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good, man. No.
I'm just wondering how they're going to make it canon.
If they decide to.
You know,
If-
because I do want them to make it canon, but at the same time, like, I want the end of Z to still be relevant, you know? Because at the end of Z, it's still like a few years past wherever Super is at right now, you know? And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if, like, here's what I've been thinking about in my head. Like, something happens and they use the Dragon Balls to make everybody, like, forget about a certain thing. Or maybe, like, and it's stupid to think this, but maybe, like, God Ki is completely eliminated. You know, and maybe
With
something
the
like that
extinction
happens.
of
Yes.
with the angels,
Yes.
that God Ki therefore can't exist.
Yes, and maybe, like, Ultra Instinct, like, Goku can't access it anymore or something, and it's just not mentioned ever again. Or maybe they use the Super Dragon Balls to make the rest of the universe, like, forget about it. Like, I want GT to be canon, but I'm trying to, like, fix it around in my head, like, how they're going to do it.
I guess one way they could pull this off is Grand Priest seeing how strong Goku and Vegeta have become after Moro and just deciding that it's best to erase their memory of Beerus, of God Ki, of everything, just for his own security and for the security of all the other universes.
I know.
Because we saw Goku Black already.
Yeah,
What happens if both of them are taken?
Yeah.
There is nothing they can do.
true.
Nothing. If they both get as strong as we are, like, theorizing they're gonna get, dude, they're gonna be almost unstoppable by even the angels. Like, if Goku can tap into I'm not saying he's gonna learn it this chapter. I am saying I want to see at least an appearance of Omen, of Ultra Instinct Omen against something. I
Right,
don't know.
kind of like what they did in Heroes.
Yeah, kind of like what they did in Heroes,
But please better.
but please better. Yeah.
Oh,
please.
so much better. And if you know, I want to get into that next, but
Really?
like, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Is there anything else about, like, Super or, like, Super's continuation? Like, I don't even know if we're gonna get Super ever again.
I'd be fine with that.
You know what, and I am gonna say it, I would be okay without, the TV show. I am
Yeah.
more so, and this is just my personal viewpoint on it, because of what happened, and I know I will only mention this one time, but what happened with Vic Mignogna will forever change my aspect on Funimation and their studios.
Yeah.
It will forever change it, and I will probably never have the same attachment to TV show Dragon Ball due to the fact that I know who's making it.
Yeah. And that's fine. You can have your own opinion.
I will still love Dragon Ball. I will still love the manga. I'll still love that aspect of Dragon Ball, but I will never love the TV, airing it on Adult Swim.
It just kind of makes you mad every time
Yeah.
you see Funimation.
Or hear the voice actors of the English cast, because
Right.
I know what they're truly like and I know what they portray themselves as.
We've
And that's my personal
Yeah.
opinion. I think that everybody can have their own different opinion. That's just mine. That's my viewpoint on what happened with the Kick Vic, and that's what I'm choosing to do. If you agree with what happened, then you can agree with what happened, and you can continue to love the show. And if you want the show still, you can ask for it. But if you ask me personally, I don't think we should have another TV show. Not because I don't know how to say it.
It just kind of went. It took a lot of time and a lot of episodes and a lot of frustration to get what we wanted out of the show, which is the Tournament of Power, which is the best arc in Super, and I think a lot of people would agree. I like the Future Trunks arc. I don't hate it, and I like the Universe 6 arc, but we had to go through an episodic retelling of Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, and we didn't need to do that.
So I will say I like the manga better because it is different. They do not go over Res F and Battle of Gods. They don't. they just completely skip it and jump on top of the Universe 6 and 7 sagas.
And I do like that.
And I like how they pulled that one off better. If those of you who don't know how that one went, Goku, in his fight with Hit, went Super Saiyan God instead of Super Saiyan Blue, and then pulled out his Super Saiyan Blue as a trump card instead of Kaioken. That is how he did it in the manga. And I like that a little bit better because it just makes more sense that Super Saiyan Blue would be that powerful against Hit. And Super Saiyan God could do a good amount, but it's not nearly as good as Blue.
Right. And I do like the fact that we can have a manga and an anime, and they both have different retellings of it, because I really like Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, and making Kaioken relevant again was really awesome.
And I will say Super Saiyan Blue Evolution is probably one of the best things I've seen the anime create. Was just that in itself I liked a lot, because that showed a lot of development in Vegeta. That showed a ton.
I did like it. And I know Cade's not the biggest fan of Super, but I mean Dragon Ball's still Dragon Ball.
Super is okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 40% good. Yeah. It's 40%.
I can agree with that.
Because the Battle of Gods arc and Resurrection, it's like just watch the movies.
Yeah.
Just watch the movies. Then watch Universe 6. I think the Trunks arc is a mess, and I think that it is just god awful, and that's just me. But I can also look at like Dragon Ball Heroes, and I can be like, this is trash.
And that's exactly what I want to get into
Let's
right
have
now.
that be our segment into Dragon Ball Superheroes. For those of you who have not watched it, it honestly is a hit or miss show for a lot of Dragon Ball fans. Honestly, I saw it as a potential to explore different aspects of the Dragon Ball universe that weren't explored before, like what-if battles. I love those. I love it when people talk about them, but just the way they executed everything in Superheroes, to me, I haven't watched it since like episode like maybe 5 of the beginning, just because they lost me that early on.
The minute that like Cooler shows up and or not when Cooler shows up, when what's his name?
Cumber?
Not Cumber. It's after Goku goes Ultra Instinct Omen.
Hearts.
Okay.
Yeah.
When he shows up, that lost me. And I said I was gonna watch the rest of Heroes before we did this. I can't do it.
I've watched them.
I can't do it. Like, what happens after that?
It's as well after Hearts. So then like this chick shows up and she's like messing them all up, but then he tells her to leave, so she does. And then the two people that are supposed to be like Baby from GT. And Heroes does so much of that. Like, use GT. And it's like, now you're using it. But then the two Tuffle people formed like this huge monster. And Goku's able to tap into Ultra Instinct somehow because he trained with the Grand Priest. And then Hearts absorbs like the universe seed or whatever. And then they become Gogeta.
Yeah.
And Gogeta is just too much for him. And it's literally so weak as like Gogeta like kind of punches him a couple of times and Hearts just dies. He just kind of evaporates and dies. You're just kind of like, well, Jiren and Hit show up too. I gotta say that. But
so I know when Dragon Ball can be good, and I know when Dragon Ball can like try to do too many things at once.
And I think that's a perfect example of juggling too much.
It's too much. It tries to be too much of something. Like, why can't we just have adventures with Super Saiyan 4, Xeno Goku, and Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta, and Trunks and Mai? Like, why can't we have that? Why does it have to be like scale upon scale of every single villain? And then Cooler shows up, and then Gohan's there, and then like Trunks goes like evil for a second. And it's like it tries so hard to be so much of something.
I think it doesn't know what it wants to be. Sorry to interrupt you, but I don't think it knows what it wants to be.
It's unwatchable, is the thing.
gave us Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is cool.
Pretty cool.
That's very cool. We haven't seen that
right.
before.
And I mean, based on the scaling of Heroes, it's Super Saiyan 4 Vegito would curb stomp Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, but just on Heroes. And there's people that are like, well, you can't do power scaling in that. It's like, well, no, that's not all the way true, because at the end, after they kill Hearts, Jiren is like, well, why didn't you guys fuse to become Gogeta during the Tournament of Power? So it's like, okay, so this is after the Tournament of Power, and it's like, it's not the same Super Goku. Well, it kind of is.
Oh,
It's
man.
meant to be.
Yeah.
That's what they.
Yeah.
That's what they basically. Oh God, what's the word for it? That's what they. I'd like to say insinuate.
Yeah. And when you're done, I'd like to
Oh
say
no,
something.
yeah. But I don't know the word for it, but they show at the beginning of Dragon Ball Super Heroes that it is Dragon Ball Super Goku and Vegeta and Dragon Ball Super Trunks and Dragon Ball Super Mai.
Yeah.
And then it's Dragon Ball GT, or no, it's not. It's the Zeno versions of Vegeta and Goku from the game Dragon Ball
Yeah.
Heroes.
Which are awesome.
Yeah.
I do like them.
Yeah.
I like them. They seem like, because from my memory, from what I can remember, the reason they were created was because Trunks wished for, what?
Somebody just incredibly strong, and so the Supreme Time chick, the really annoying Kai,
Supreme Kai of
she
Time.
like takes it out of its mind and makes
great.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Basically, Trunks' mental version of Goku.
Great.
Pretty much.
And I like the Zeno Goku. One thing I want to say before you take over, Braden.
Yeah.
One thing I do like about this Zeno Goku is he was seen to go Super Saiyan God and then later on go Super Saiyan 4 and mention that he feels a power increase due to the fact that he unlocked and tapped into a form that he was not familiar with. He didn't directly say it, but it was kind of hinted at
You
that
know what?
he felt that difference.
That does make that just validates Super Saiyan 4 with going up against Blue Goku anyway, because he tapped into God and then he went 4. So obviously, like, your form is gonna increase.
Well, I love that in Heroes where Zeno Goku finds him and he's like, "Oh, you're with him." He goes 4, and immediately Super Goku's like, "Oh shit!" and like, because he wouldn't go blue.
Yeah.
Like he
He
was like,
he
"Oh,
would sense it.
shoot!" Like, this guy's bringing it. Okay, like.
Because
I
usually
love it.
Goku starts in a lower form and works his way up in the fight just to gauge
But
where they're at. But when he
immediately-
saw 4, he's like, ooh.
He's like, "Oh."
Yeah, kind of standoffish with that. I agree with you.
Oh yeah, I want to get into 4 towards the end of this, but one thing I do want to say is that I think there's a lot of fans out there, and I'm not talking crap on these fans because they're totally justified. Like with Toriyama. Like, personally, I wish the new, like, Star Wars movies were directed by George Lucas, because I think anything George Lucas touches is fine.
Yep.
But so I can understand these people. But big but here. I think there's a lot of people out there that like Super because Toriyama had a hand in it. You know,
Not because it's good
Not
itself,
because
but
it's
because
good.
Toriyama was the one writing it.
And-
that makes sense.
and there are ways to do Dragon Ball without Toriyama and make it good. You know, like GT, in my opinion. You know, and the manga. And then there are ways to do Dragon Ball with Toriyama. Or without Toriyama, my bad. There are ways to do Dragon Ball without Toriyama that are also, like, terrible. You know?
Case in point, Resurrection F.
Resurrection F and Heroes, you know? Like,
I don't know
so...
if Heroes is Toriyama. I think Heroes might just be Toei.
I think it's Toei.
Oh.
Yeah, but I knew
Well,
that
even so, like, my point still stands.
Well, no, it's
Even whether it has or doesn't have Toriyama, it doesn't affect the quality of it, in my opinion.
Well, no, it's like because
You know?
he wrote all of Resurrection F. There
Yeah.
was nobody else. It was just Toriyama. And out of the 3 movies, that is the weakest.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was without a doubt the weakest out of the 3. So
You know?
it's like, wow.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Super Saiyan 3 is great and all. Or Blue, sorry. Not 3. I mean, Super Saiyan 3 is great.
great, it is.
But Super Saiyan Blue, you know, it's great and all, but...
It shouldn't have been introduced there. I think personally it should have been introduced with Hit. You see Goku powering up like he did in the anime with Kaioken, and you see him all of a sudden turn blue.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you just stand back and you're like, what is this?
Yeah. So I just want to talk to you guys like discussion of forms in Heroes. Like, what is your favorite form by far that you've
4.
seen? Yeah.
4.
For what? Is there a fusion of 4 that you
Just
like,
4.
or
Just
I
Super.
just-
I
yeah.
can't eliminate it
enough
down
of it. Can't get
to
enough
one
of it.
character in that form, because the way they do it in Heroes, I feel like is a big service to the people who wanted to see 4 and Super. So the way they did it, I personally like a lot. I like the way they pulled it off.
I do like
One of my
4.
favorites is Super Saiyan 4 Goku, like, owing his pants, looking at Ultra Instinct Goku, like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was cool.
As much as I love Super Saiyan 4, I'm gonna say it, Ultra Instinct's dope.
Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I do like 4 being like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like wow. Oh,
I didn't know I was capable of that, but okay.
That part of me is really cool. Like,
well, and what's cool about that too is that whether it's Xeno Goku or regular Super Goku, if Goku looks at a new form and goes, "Whoa," he's gonna get it eventually.
Yeah.
Well, and there was never nobody ever said, "Oh, he can't use Kaioken in 4." And
Yeah.
it's like, why not? That
Why
actually
not?
makes more sense that he could in 4.
There's
It's a
virtually
primal
no
state.
stamina or energy loss in
Right.
4.
That
Right.
tail, dude. That tail.
There's no loss in stamina or energy in
Why
4.
4 is awesome.
So why can't? Yeah.
Okay, so to explain why 4 doesn't take stamina to those who don't know, so a Saiyan's tail is actually, I don't remember. I know it's important because that actually helps regulate energy and stamina use, doesn't it? Isn't that what helps?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember, but I do remember something about the tail has to correlate with their stamina. So a Super Saiyan with a tail would actually provide more strength because they have that Saiyan tail. And I don't remember as to why, so you might have to look that up. But I do know that is a generally accepted fact among the Dragon Ball community is that the tail does make a Saiyan stronger.
Oh yeah. Well, it's just I feel like 4's, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like 4's underrated, dude.
It is.
Like
It's
I
because
feel like
GT.
I don't even think I've watched GT and I can probably sit through like the first 15 episodes more than I can sit through the first like 35 episodes of Super. You know? And
Yeah.
The music is fantastic. The animation
Oh,
is
yeah.
so good. But no, it's like I love GT, but that beginning arc of them going through space,
It's hard to get
hard
through.
to get through it.
Yeah.
But as soon as they get back and Baby's there, it's like here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
just good.
And Super Saiyan 4, I think what it did at the time is it made a form more complicated to achieve.
Well,
in
and
a
it gave it
sense.
more importance too, because
Yeah.
with Super, it was like, oh, here's red, or here's God form, here's blue, here's Kaioken with blue, here's
yeah.
Blue Evolution, here's Ultra.
Whereas
GT,
this one was based
here's
off
4.
of, yeah.
Here's 4. There you go. That's it. And then they fused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't go crazy with it. They were just like, that's it. And I like that. I like that 4 is the form that. I call it the freak form. It wasn't ever supposed to be achieved, but
Yeah.
because of the factors
That went into play. It's
Yep.
so unique.
Yep.
You know?
Thanks, baby Vegeta.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is completely underrated. I feel like GT in and of itself gets. I think kind of GT has the similar thing that like the prequels from Star Wars do.
Yeah, I've come to appreciate
Yeah.
the prequels a lot more now that I've delved into the lore, and then I'm now getting into the Old Republic. I'm playing Knights of the Old Republic game
Oh,
from
yeah.
2003, and that is fun.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The
And-
prequels are great.
And I just
Yeah.
want to say, like, we're still going to do, like, an episode not dedicated to anything Dragon Ball where we can just let all of our opinions towards, like, pop culture and nerdy stuff.
Just the nerd fandom gets to come out full force.
That's still going to be every 5th episode, and I still want that to happen. So I'm excited to talk about that
Yeah.
here in a couple weeks. But definitely, I do kind of like what you're saying.
It's
though.
true because
You know?
everybody's like prequels suck, and then Disney released their garbage, and everybody's
The
like,
sequels
the
and
prequels are actually
everyone's-
pretty good.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, prequels actually have that badass part with Yoda. That's pretty cool.
You know what? I actually kind of like Darth Maul. He's
Yeah.
cool.
And I think now, like, because with Super, there are some parts where you're like, come on, like that wasn't. I don't know why they did that because they made Goku very, very dumb.
Oh, yeah.
in Super,
Well-
like, or at least it's so naive to the point where it's just like, come on, man.
I don't even know where that came from.
He
Yeah,
wasn't
'cause
like,
it- At the
Where
end
did
of
that
Z-
even come from? That came out
was
of
not like
nowhere.
that.
At the end of Z, he was completely different, and that's why it
And
kind of
even-
lost me a little
well,
bit.
no, it's bad because when you have Goku as an actual kid, in GT, and he's
It makes
more
sense.
adult
Well, and like
than
sense.
the Goku in Super.
Well,
It's
in
just-
GT, it would make more sense if he acted like a kid because he was turned into a
But
kid.
he doesn't. That's the
Yeah,
well,
but he doesn't.
kinda does. Like, there-
I mean,
love
some
the,
aspects.
The part where like they're crashing and they're like, "Put your seatbelt on," and he just has them tied in knots all over him. He's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, I'm ready." I love that. But no, it's just I don't know why Super did that. Made him that. Yeah, it's bad.
They wanted to go back to the original Dragon Ball route of the lightheartedness.
Well, sure.
But then keep the action and seriousness of Z, and you can't do that.
Well, sure, like Goku in Dragon Ball seemed a little dumb and
But not that
you know,
dumb.
and shy. He was a kid, you know? He was a kid and he had learned so much by the time Z came around. He didn't act that way anymore. He grew up. Goku grew up.
Oh man, like the infamous. Oh, well, you did that thing with your mouth, Trunks. What is that? It's like no. I do not buy that in
Goku-
any way, shape, or form. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I don't even say. Is that even dialogue in the original Japanese?
Yes.
Oh
Yes, it is.
God.
Yes, it is.
So that's not a dub at in. That
No.
is straight just oof.
Yeah. And it's just like, I do not believe that at all. Because you know Chi-Chi did some stuff to you.
Oh
Yeah.
To get those two kids. So don't, no.
I do think that is pretty dumb. You know,
So
and
bad.
Toei has so many problems with stuff like that. You know.
But other than that, I mean, I think Super's just high moments outweigh its bad to people.
Yeah.
Because by the end, I mean, that tournament of power won
That
people
tournament of
over.
power?
Yeah.
I remember being in my I was in an anime club a few years ago here at the college, and we all sat together and watched the end of it, and it was like we were watching a football game.
Yeah.
We were just like, oh, and then like when Frieza and Goku are like side by side taking down Jiren, we're just like, oh my god, we were jumping around. We were
I do remember jumping in my seat when I saw Goku and Frieza turn around after Jiren had like clapped them at the top of that pillar and went after 17.
Oh, yeah.
And those two boosting each other down, Frieza taking down Jiren and then Goku joining, turning in and out of Super Saiyan. That was without a doubt one of the best moments of Super. Without a doubt.
one of the best moments in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
That
Ja-
fight.
And I think it was just so great just because, like, you watch Frieza and Goku win a battle instead of like,
That is-
Goku and Vegeta. It was different. And it was so different that people liked it.
Well, until I did the right thing of setting out a fake. Because you know how they were always like, you would get a week before and they
Yeah.
would get the date.
Oh, yeah.
Until they said
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, Jiren won. And like,
Jiren won. And
Yeah.
no, I remember seeing that too. Well, I didn't want any spoilers. I'm okay. I'm that kind of person. If I hear a spoiler, I'm gonna fight somebody. I'm gonna fight whoever told me.
if
because
it's something
I
I'm
hate
interested in,
spoilers.
I will get mad.
I
but
hate spoilers of anything that I like. So like when I saw that, I was pissed. I was like, I'm not even gonna watch it, and I watched it anyway. But like, I just think that it was so different. And then of course, you know, Sean Schemmel had to ruin that moment with a alley oop in the dub. Did you see that?
I did.
I didn't.
Yeah. So when Goku is like Frieza, or Frieza's like, throw me at him, and he's like, okay, and he like shoves him off his arms, and Frieza like flies into Jiren. Yeah. For some reason, this just like, I have a very short temper when it comes to Sean Schemmel.
I do
like,
too.
This just like this took my temper from a 1 to a 10 real quick. Is when for some reason it's already epic enough. And then for some reason, Sean Schemmel just needs to take me out of it and go, all right, Frieza, come on, alley-oop. And I was just like,
That's bad. I thought the dub was bad.
To be
already.
honest, it's not that big a deal. But for some reason, it just bothered me a lot. I don't know why he needed to say that.
Yeah, that bugs me just hearing that. I looked at you like, what on earth? He said what?
But then they do add like some good stuff where like after Beerus and Champa kind of met and they fought each other and they kind of had that destruction on the floor and Goku goes to put his foot there and Chris Sabat adds like, no, don't put your foot on there, and then it falls through. I was like, okay, I kind of like that. That was good. No, don't do it, you idiot. I like that. But they just have their moments where it's just like, yeah, I wouldn't have done that. If I wish I could have been there in the room when you guys were like, I'm gonna say alley-oop and been like, don't do that.
Chris,
don't do that.
or not
We
Chris.
didn't hear that.
Sean, just stick to the script, okay?
Just do your screams. That's all you're good
Just
at.
do your screams.
Can I say one thing about Sean Schemmel that bugs me a lot? his source of entitlement for the character Goku, he thinks since he's done such a good job voicing Goku, he has therefore become Goku. And I don't think that's the way any voice actor should ever look at a character. I think they should look as they're more of voicing the character and what they would sound like, but like that's the most you ever can be.
Right.
You cannot be the character. I'm sorry, but like you can immerse yourself into it and pretend to be the character, but when you go out and talk to fans like as if you are the Goku and you hype yourself up
Like
that
Goku
big,
wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Even though there was people that did just as good a job. Peter Calamus.
Ocean
Yeah,
dub.
oh, yeah, oh,
there
yeah.
was one, I don't remember his name, but in the Ocean dub, I liked his voice better than Schimmel's.
Big green dub.
Oh goodness.
That's the best one.
Let that child go.
It's a good one, man. No, it's not. So we talked a little bit about Super Saiyan 4. We talked a little bit about Heroes, Super Continuation, the manga. I kind of want to get into something that I've kind of been wanting to say for this whole, like, the whole time this podcast has been going. I kind of want to talk about character arcs in Dragon Ball, just because those things kind of interest me. I know that Totally Not Mark has talked about him a little bit, and it's just kind of fun to engage in this conversation. But I just want to know your guys' thoughts on, like, character arcs in Dragon Ball. Like, which one is your favorite?
Oh, by far right
personally?
now, Vegeta's character arc throughout all of it. No, that's not true. That's my current favorite one. But my favorite one of all time is watching Gohan grow up through the Saiyan saga, through the Frieza saga. You saw him explode and kick some ass at certain points.
Oh, yeah.
But then you finally see Gohan's power controlled and trained, and you get that chilling Super Saiyan 2 transformation that even just thinking about it, I have goosebumps right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is, without a doubt, probably my favorite transformation and character arc of all of Dragon Ball, and it forever will be, because they took a character that was super young, super, like skittish, super not very confident about themselves, super not very wanting to get into combat. I'm not saying not confident in themselves at all. I'm saying in a combat situation. Gohan was not very confident in his ability at all. But they took that, they gave Goku the responsibility to train Gohan, and they just pulled it off so well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my favorite of all time. And then my current favorite is Vegeta, because he has gone through the most change out of every character.
Yep.
By far. You see him, and the first time you see him, you see the different colors that his armor is, and then, I mean, he was just a completely different character.
Yeah.
And then now you see him, and he's learning from the Yard Rats. You never would have guessed back then, especially if you guessed during the Frieza saga, you never would have guessed that would have been Vegeta's future.
Yeah.
Even in the Cell saga, or even in the Buu saga, you never would have guessed he would be learning from other people.
He would have tried to annihilate him.
Yeah, exactly.
In the Frieza saga.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I can understand why Gohan would, be your favorite. It's pretty obvious, and you see it as super, or not super, gosh, I gotta get super out of my head. You see that, through the course of Z, Gohan just has like these little explosions of anger, You're like, dang, kid.
One of my other favorite moments is when Gohan finally unlocks his mystic form, flies in and tells Boo, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm going to kill you.
Oh, yeah.
That was a huge, huge moment. Like, I had never heard Gohan talk like that. Well, you do as a Super Saiyan 2, but since then, since what he became, you wouldn't have seen him saying that to a formidable opponent. Yeah.
Team 4-star love right there. But no, yeah, and I think it's cool too, because this is why the Buu arc is my favorite. I think it includes so many great things about so many characters, because Vegeta gets his moment with his sacrifice, Goku gets his moment with Super Saiyan 3 and the Spirit Bomb, Gohan gets his moment with Mystic Form or Potential Unleashed, whatever you want to call it.
Hercule.
Oh my God.
Even Hercule.
Hercule's the man.
Even the kids, Trunks and Goten, get their moment with Gotenks.
Yep.
I think it's great. I think everybody.
Chi-Chi gets her moment.
I guess, yeah, you could say that.
When she when she slaps Boo, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Isn't she the one?
Yeah, she
Okay.
comes up and then he turns her into an egg.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Even the secondary characters got their moments. Even 18 got her moment when she fought against Hercule
Yeah.
and provided a sense of kindness that you wouldn't have seen in the Cell Saga.
Sure.
Android Saga, whatever you want to call it.
True. I think my favorite character arc has to be probably Piccolo, because I remember, when I was a kid, I remember my mom would bring me home the VHSs of Dragon Ball. And then sometimes she didn't know, so sometimes she'd bring Dragon Ball, and then Dragon Ball would always be like the first part of those adventures with Goku and Bulma and Yamcha and Oolong.
Oh, the very early stuff.
Yeah. And so I remember watching those, and then my mom would get them confused, and she'd get Dragon Ball Z during the time when Gohan was like in the woods in training before the Saiyans came. And so I was just like, oh, so Dragon Ball's about like when Goku was a kid, and Dragon Ball Z is about, when it's about Goku's kid, Gohan.
Right.
So but as I kept going forward, I watched mainly Dragon Ball that first time, and so I remember like watching Piccolo, and so for a while I always like looked at Piccolo and thought like bad, like he's a bad guy, because he tried to kill Goku and everyone at the tournament when he turned into the giant Namekian, and he got away. Even when Piccolo got away, I was even like, no, like Piccolo, in my opinion, was bad when when I was just a kid and Dragon Ball came out. So to watch him go from that to literally standing in front of a blast for Gohan, the son of Goku, who is literally the bane of Piccolo's existence, like that was pretty big for me. And Piccolo just keeps getting better and better as Z goes by. Sure, he doesn't have a lot of continuation in character arc now, but I think it's because like Piccolo's smart. Piccolo doesn't need to be like Vegeta. Piccolo doesn't need all this time to grow up and to be a better person. And so that's why I think it's okay for Piccolo to not really change too much. I liked his little moment in the Tournament of Power, though.
He was. I hated how they just eliminated him. That was horrible,
but I did like that.
I mean, yeah.
And so Piccolo, for that reason, will be my favorite character arc. But I do like Goku's character arc for the fact that it doesn't need to change. Totally, Mark said like Goku's character arc doesn't need to change. He's already a great person, and the ideal person you want to be. It's more about how the rest of the world changes around Goku and what Goku does to change the world around him.
Yeah, that's the story of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, he doesn't need to change. In a way, I would put that in perspective in pop culture would be like Captain America. His character doesn't really change through the whole series. He does what's right. He's
Golden Boy.
bottles American ideals, golden boy kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't change, and he doesn't need to. And there's great stories with Captain America, where he doesn't need to change as a person, And I just wanted to put that in perspective, to put that as an example.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to pick my favorite, it'd definitely be Piccolo.
Nice.
What's yours, kid?
I agree with both of you because you see the most with Vegeta, and starting with Dragon Ball, you see the most with Piccolo, and I agree that Goku doesn't need to change. But what I would like, and I know they won't do it, but it would be really awesome to see Goku go through something that's incredibly hard for him. That training is not going to help. Like
Chi-Chi would have to die.
If Chi-Chi died or something like that, and they couldn't bring her back, to see what that would do to him. Like, that I find interesting, because it's like we've seen Goku blow up too.
Oh yeah.
So,
the mere
I
thought.
won't let you destroy my world.
The mere thought of Goku Black like killing Chi-Chi and Goten sent Goku off the rails, man.
So that's what I would like to see, is like maybe let Vegeta be the voice of reason where Goku's trying to maintain his stability somewhat. I don't know. I know that's not really his character, but that would be something new.
Yeah,
it would be really interesting. Cool. But Dragon Ball's not that kind of show. So I guess my favorite. Oh man, that's hard. Goku's my boy, so I'm always going to go for Goku. But oh man, I actually really like Krillin. I love his progression.
Yeah.
I do.
He turns from a little punk into actually a good
somebody
kid.
amazing, and I love how he's like, I'm never gonna find anybody. And like that episode where Marin breaks up with him. And
I remember that.
That's a hard.
I just
episode.
watched that the other day.
Yeah, that's a hard episode. You're just like, poor guy. Like, damn it. Like,
And she just leaves him.
well, yeah.
Just leaves him for
And
another
has
day.
the glasses on to like hide that he's crying. I remember being
I
little
know.
and being like, oh, damn, really? But then he gets one of the finest ladies in Dragon
Hell
Ball. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, good for you, Krillin.
He gets the win.
Kamehameha, bitches!
Yeah, he gets it. He gets it. So
Heck yeah.
I love Krillin. I love the Krillmeister.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I think that's enough for today.
Yeah,
I think
sounds
that
good.
covers a lot of stuff and makes up for a lot of lost time. In the future, I hope to have a better mic and better equipment. I'm just starting to learn about this editing software. So if you're listening to this, I'm not gonna say the date and time because this might take me a couple days to upload, but it's gonna get up. It's gonna happen. I still have a lot of plans for this podcast. I wanna like get some merch going. That would be cool.
Like on Teespring or something?
Yeah, start a little Teespring account, make a couple t-shirts, I definitely want more guests on here, and especially like fans. If we get a lot of fans, I'd definitely like to have some of y'all come on here and we can talk about Dragon Ball. I think it would be cool.
Or even setting up a number they can contact.
Yeah.
To either text or call.
Yeah,
They can call in or text in.
A cool 10-minute hotline or something like that.
A segment of the episode.
Yeah, I think that would be sweet. And we get to talk to you guys.
But that's as we grow.
Yeah, for sure. And that I do want that stuff to happen. And, I want this podcast to improve. I'm going to do the same thing when I get to the 20th episode. I want to look back and I want to be like, okay, so I did that better. So now what can I do better here? And then we're gonna have off-topic Dragon Ball episodes every fifth episode. So that's still going to happen. And, yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so the next episode, I want to try to get it to happen next week if we can. It's just finding topics and stuff like that.
And scheduling and what's going on in our personal lives. So
Yeah.
it may depend.
For sure. And but I want to try to shoot for next week. So if you're listening and you listen to us regularly, just keep those notifications on so you know when we upload a video. And so, finally, I just want to say thank you guys so much for listening in and staying with us. Like I said, this is the Live Z podcast. I'm Bray.
K.O. Kendall.
Hunter.
And we'll see you on the next one, guys. Thanks for joining us. Later.
Later.